From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big Monday afternoon here on Afternoons LALATE with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we go over that monthly stimulus check, how much the Democrats want you to have as the voting is starting on the reconciliation process. Away we go. We'll be going over all the details you need to know in this exciting week in which the reconciliation for stimulus check voting starts. Then we cut to fifth stimulus that raises your benefits up a lifetime, gives you another stimulus check for next year. But I'll analyze all the incredible details as Wall Street tries to grapple with the news from last Friday. It's all wonderful news as your benefits could see a lift of nearly 10% lifetime. Then we cut to the thousands of dollars that you can get right now. Viewers are getting it every day, every minute, every hour. They're also getting free waves from a check. No, the check doesn't wave. It's a big noontime. It's a big afternoon. It's a big Monday. Let's get to the details, starting right here, starting right now on Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. A good afternoon, a good Monday. How you doing? It's a beautiful Monday afternoon here in Southern California. Hope you had a beautiful Sunday, Father's Day. Hope you also had wonderful weather. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather right now. I know there has been a lot of heat waves and a lot of tropical depressions in the middle of the country. So hopefully you have good weather. Jump in the live chat right now and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus check updated 2021, we have the incredible great news today. As the fourth stimulus starts the voting process by reconciliation. We'll be going over that voting process, the monthly stimulus checks, the breaking news that you need to know, and not surprisingly, I predicted three things this weekend, and all three things happened. I'll be going over what those are. I was just sort of surprised. Needless to say, we're going to then be turning to the excitement of fifth stimulus that heats up this fall, and fifth stimulus has another stimulus check, and has a raise of your benefits lifetime, which could be seen upwards of a 10% increase. This is categorically incredible. You'll be seeing all the details of that in the second half of this video. And then in the middle of this video, we get thousands of dollars right now because that's what we do on this channel. It's your chance to get that money today. And this is LALATE, the only 24 hours a day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning and taped in the afternoon, like this show, followed by Evenings LALATE. Stay with this video. 6 seconds after the video is over, it will take you into Evenings LALATE, which starts about 80 minutes thereafter. And then we go into Overnight's Crypto, which last night was a bombshell of a hit show because of the Dogecoin crash. I had it all live on air. So subscribe, 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record, fastest growing channel there is. 1 million subscribers. Next stop, hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, it delivers free wine. I don't know. I'm trying something new. Last week it was like the video, it brings good weather. This week it's like the video, it delivers free wine. I mean, that's what I heard. I might be wrong. Maybe it's just grapes. And then consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Let's get right into the breaking news. First, in our first of three parts of that fourth stimulus check update of 2021, I got a lot of new breaking news today with you, so stay with me to the very end. Let's start first with the stimulus check itself and the payouts. Two approaches: House bill, Senate proposal. House bill, stimulus check monthly. Senate proposal, stimulus check monthly. But the number of checks slightly different. House, the pandemic plus 1 year monthly. Senate, July to December, so less checks. Let's go over the monthly payouts. House, 1,000 monthly after first month of 2. Senate monthly unknown, but word on the street is the Senate Democrats want you to have this. OMG, wow. Now that's wonderful. That's per person. And that is from the Senate Democrats, word on the street. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000 a person. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400 a person. If you're in the live chat just after 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, get ready to vote House or Senate and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. But first, let's go back to something we got to take a look at. It's this. Pandemic plus 1 year. Well, some legislators may contend the pandemic is over, so that would result in just 12 checks over 12 months, because there's 12 months in a year, which equates to $13,000 per person from the House. Compare that now to this over 6 months from the senators. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and voice your opinion. Senator House, vote right now. I want to see all that voting started. And tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Let's go over everything you need to know about this fourth stimulus check. Who gets it? You do. Democrats want everyone who had a third stimulus check to get a fourth stimulus check. So the Democrats want single individuals, $75,000 or less, to get a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check, double it. Household 4 or less, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you are on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. There you go. The fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check is a monthly stimulus check, monthly. It does not come in waves. It doesn't come in waves. So do not wave at the check. If you're at the buffet today at this evening, and you're about to get the fettuccine Alfredo, don't wave at the check. Hey, check! Did you try the fettuccine? Didn't respond back to me. Rude check. Hey, share some of that fettuccine. It's a buffet here. It's just a rude check. Even over the fettuccine Alfredo, the check is rude. No, the check is not rude. It's not a waveable check. It cannot wave back at you. It's a monthly stimulus check. There you go. Fettuccine Alfredo and stimulus. The Democrats would be giving you a fourth stimulus check in the month of July, for the month of July, and in the month of August, for the month of August, but they will not be giving you a stimulus check for your fettuccine. The final vote would be in July, by July 4th. And there you go. That is your first of your 3 parts of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In the second part, we go over the breaking news, and I'm just sort of laughing because I told you it was going to happen. It happened verbatim, and from the guy that I told you was going to happen from about forced stimulus. It's just hysterical. And then the third part of this video, we'll be going over how to prepare for other things like what happened with that guy over the weekend. Because guess what? I expect the media to twist things as they go into the remainder of the week. They gotta sell newspapers. I mean, when was the last time you bought a newspaper? Anyway, let's cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall and has a lot of details. Let me give you a preview of the second half of this video. And the second half of this video is fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up lifetime, but could it be upwards of 10%? And is there a fifth stimulus check? Yes, there is. I'll have all the incredible details in the second half of this video. But now let's get some money. Let's get some money. It's Money Monday. It's Money Monday. I'm wearing purple. I wore crypto red yesterday to crash the market. I'm sorry. And I wore red to win the U.S. Open, and you didn't win, so I'm sorry about that as well. But I'm wearing purple Monday, so it's Money Monday. Let's get some money. And that's what I do on this channel. I get people money. I got viewers $25 million for EIDL loans in spring of last year to save their businesses, their homes, and their employees' homes. But then in fall of 2020, we weren't seeing second stimulus go out the door. So I got viewers $250,000 of rent and utilities. And now we're doing the same thing as we wait for fourth stimulus on getting you money. So get a pen and paper ready. And if it must be a Crayola crown, you know it has to be purple. So let's go over the money you can get. You're going to have the availability first of rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance. It's wonderful. How much is the rent? It's about $5,000, about 4 to 6 months of rent. Yes. So you're going to reach out to different places, which I'm going to show to you in a second. Each has different eligibility. So if one says no, reach out to the next. All right. You're ready with that pen and paper? Here we go. City Hall, City Housing Authority. You're going to reach out to County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words that they don't know, like stimulus and Mitch is a lobster tango. Excuse me? There was a tango with Mitch and the lobster, or the lobster Mitch as well. I don't think I want to know about this. This is, yeah, I don't know what, sir, you have reached the wrong phone number. So don't say words that they don't know, because they will click you off. They'll just cut you off in a second. But boy, congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this money, and I'm excited for you. If you've gotten a penny from this channel, or 2 pennies, or 100,000 pennies, I've gotten viewers 100,000 pennies as well. Jump in the live chat and say what you got, because it inspires me and inspires everyone else, because this is where you should be getting the big money. You should not be tracking checks. You should be cashing checks. And I congratulate Tim and Linda who got money, but this next pot of money, wow. Last week, someone got $5,000. It really inspired me. The week before, someone got $6,000 to $7,000. Inspired me as well. Lynn Glenn has gotten it for herself, for her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. What is it? It's SNAP. It's wonderful, and you need to get it. It's the same eligibility, generally, as a stimulus check. And it's a fortune. How much? It's about $16,000 a year for a family of 4 in Hawaii. Wow. Why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden and one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. And we're killing it. You're killing it. We're all killing it. Except the Fettuccine Alfredo. It's just sort of boring. $16,000 for SNAP, $5,000 for rent. Well, I got more money for you. And we're only 11 minutes into the video. It is the wonderful money coming back from the states. The states are returning money back to you via the federal government. The federal government had identified states as overpaying you unemployment assistance due to a computer error, and then asking you to return the money back to them. Not your computer error. Your computer works fine, thank you. It's their computer, Windows 98. And so the states have been ordered to return the money back to you and, fix their computers. So where are you getting the money? Where? To the account you have on file with your state. One viewer got $5,000 from this. When? Reach out to your state for routing times. And when you reach out to your state for routing times, ask them to track the check with a different computer, because that other one don't work. And there we go. But the last pot of money is wonderful, and it's still coming all this month. And Cod got it, Margaret got it. What is it? It's the money rebate on that unemployment assistance. It's a lot of money. And let's go over how much, when you're going to get it, and the tracking. First, how much? Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment. Your total tax bill was $5,000, of which it was $4,000 for taxes on unemployment assistance. You're getting back $4,000. When? This month. Where? To direct deposit, if that was what was on your tax return. Otherwise, in the mail. Can you track it? Yeah, you can, about 70% of the time. Go to irs.gov. Set up a username and password, go in there, and do a transcript search. 70% it reveals a lot more than you'd be surprised. It reveals the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid, the favorite beer that your boss likes, what your coworker's golf score is, my favorite color, purple, and then the tax return check you're getting. It's wonderful news, and is there more wonderful news than that? It is, as we go into the second of your 3-part updates of 4 stimulus check for 2021 today. Boy, I had predicted a couple things over the weekend. One, I predicted a crypto crash on Sunday. We crashed. I predicted that Bernie Sanders was going to come out and say something like, I don't really like it if it doesn't have something in there. And I predicted that print media, conservative print media, were going to take his comments and take it out of context. Guess what? All 3 things happened. There we go. So Bernie Sanders did come out on Sunday on talk TV, and said, I don't really like that. And so guess what? The conservative media ran. Bernie Sanders is going to block the infrastructure bill. He didn't say that. Oh my goodness, it's exactly like I predicted they were going to do. I said it was either going to be Bernie or Joe Manchin. They're going to take a quote and stretch the quote like a rubber band as far as it can stretch it, and it will pop, and it will say something other than what the person said. He said, I don't really like gas tax or EV this stuff, and I really don't like it. It really shouldn't be in there, but I still have not seen the bill. Comma. There was like another half of the sentence, comma, but I still have not seen the bill, and I'm not going to pass judgment until I see it. What did they run the story title as? Bernie Sanders is going to block your infrastructure bill. He didn't say that, folks. They do this all the time. So there you go. More about that in the third part of this update. But here we go. We're calling the vote. The voting is started. The voting is started on the reconciliation process. The voting starts this week, and it's important to understand how we got to this process. It's also important to understand the voting process. In the third part of this update, I'll be going over the actual voting process. But it's important to know that we got to this point when the president said last week, start the voting. Start the voting. So this next week, you start the voting. And we are. And Jalapal spoke about this whole situation before the weekend, and her comments were incredible. They were double negative because they're legislators, not English majors. And so they're a little confusing when you hear them, so I'm going to explain them. First, Jalapal said, the White House has not told me not to do what I'm doing. That's wonderful news, but it's confusing because it's double negative. So let me explain it to you. Also, Brian Schatz had another double negative. What's with the double negatives? The White House has repeatedly reassured me that they consider the progressive policies, the White House's own progressive policies, and the White House has not asked me to back off of what I'm doing. Wow, they just love double negatives, don't they? So let me explain what's going on. The president doesn't write for stimulus. The legislators do, like Jalapal. And the legislators are legislating. They're drafting it. Well, the president has made very clear what he likes in there, but he's also made very clear what he will go to the mat over, aka veto, unless it's in there. If it's not in there, he will veto it. And what does he absolutely have to have in there? 2 progressive policies. Number 1, climate. Number 2, the CARES economy, which, by the way, Bernie Sanders likes. Those weren't the things that he was talking about on TV on Sunday. So those are both progressive policies, which Bernie Sanders, of course, is progressive as well. And the president has reached out and said to Jalapal, I'm loving that you're putting my 2 progressive policies in there. Thank you. And to which Jalapal says, thank you back, Mr. President. Now, the president has also made clear to Jalapal, because you're taking care of my 2 progressive policies, make sure you take care of your progressive policies as well. And I will support you as well on your other progressive policies. And what are they? Monthly stimulus checks. It's back rubbing back or back patting back. He wants his 2 progressive policies. Jalapal's taking care of them and her progressives. And he says, fine, take care of your progressive policies as well. That's the monthly stimulus checks, and he has their back as well. There you go. Wonderful news. How did we get to the spot? We got to the spot the Friday before Memorial Day weekend when Leah Schumer confirmed we are already under reconciliation process. We had already begun before that Memorial Day weekend. Number 2, that the final vote would be by July 4th. And number 3, that the final vote would end with a passage by July 4th. Now, how do we get to that incredible point? When Jalapal had Richard Schumer a letter saying, call the vote, Chuck. What are we waiting? Call the vote. Now, what's better, even better news than that, was that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, who are among the 100, yes, you heard me right, 100 plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter days earlier saying, Mr. President, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks into the 4th stimulus package. Wow, now that's wonderful news. Can we top that? We can. When 7 House Democrats wrote the president a letter directly and said to the president, Mr. President, when we write the 4th stimulus package, we will be putting 4 stimulus checks in there monthly. Who are these people to say that? What do they do for a living? Who are you? They are on the House subcommittee that's solely and exclusively responsible for writing your stimulus checks in the House of Representatives and the Congress. Wow. Did you write the first stimulus check? They did. Did you write the second? They wrote your second stimulus check. Did you write our third stimulus check? They did. And you're saying you're going to write our 4th stimulus check now? They say they are. And they're currently marking up the bill. Wow. Now that's wonderful news. Are you going to be writing a 5th stimulus check? They say they are. That's coming up later in this video. Wow, now that's wonderful news. Can we top that? We can. As the president a week ago this Saturday got a major deal, surprised everyone, by going overseas internationally on first international trip, got international leaders to sign into law a provision that anchors 4th stimulus to the edge of the finish line by making it easier to pass 4th stimulus because now those international tax corporate issues are in the international agreement and no longer needed in 4th stimulus. Let me explain the details behind that right now. The president had been talking about this since day one, in which he said, I'm raising corporate taxes under 4th stimulus. What's corporate taxes? The tax rate on corporations. But he had said since day one, I'm worried that if I raise corporate taxes, corporations may leave the United States to go overseas to another place where the corporate tax rate is lower, another country. So he reached out to those other countries and got everyone to raise their minimum global corporate tax rate, tentatively. And then he reached out to his legislators and said, I like how this is going. Let's get those G7 countries to meet around Christmas. We'll bring some caramel popcorn. I like that one that Joe likes. And then we'll get them to sign on the dotted line. And if they do, we'll remove the provisions about corporate tax rate. We don't need anymore. Wonderful news. But then he surprised us all. Biden did it. Last Saturday. The president went overseas internationally for his first trip as president, and got those G7 countries, those leaders, to sign into law the provision now. Not in December, but now. Anchoring forced stimulus to the edge of the finish line, because now the provisions are no longer needed in the forced stimulus package. They are in the international agreement, making it easier to pass forced stimulus for those Democratic caucus members. Wow, now that is wonderful news. Can we top that? We can, with the third of our fourth stimulus check update of 2021 with breaking news, and the fifth stimulus with breaking news coming up after the commercial break. But there is something even more wonderful. The volunteers. If you've had problems getting that rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, or SNAP, and you've tried it and can't find it, don't worry. Reach out to the volunteers. They embody the true Purple Power spirit, viewers helping viewers. How do you find them? Go to the community page, open the description of this video, and go down in the description till you find the community page. They are separated. There's an emoji of a house, and then there's the link, news.la.com/community. On the community page, you'll see a picture of some kitty cats. They're not your volunteers. They're just kitty cats. Lower on the page are the volunteers. They can help you with rent, SNAP, internet, food, and also mortgage assistance. They cannot take out your dry cleaning. They cannot cook you a tostada. They do not know how to do Nancy's hairstyle, but they can do everything else that I covered in this video. Rent, utilities, mortgage, internet, and also SNAP. And here is a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with the second part of our exciting big details this Monday afternoon on Afternoons LALATE. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then Afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on this mega extended broadcast of Afternoons LALATE this Monday afternoon with exciting details, breaking news you're hearing for the first time on this Monday afternoon's broadcast about your fourth stimulus check and your fifth stimulus package. How are you? How's the weather where you are and where you're tuning in from? If you've just joined the chat, jump into the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from. But also subscribe. 400,000 subscribers in 1 year, a YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. I want you to subscribe and be part of this family. The more subscribers, the bigger we grow, and the bigger and more powerful we can become in pushing for the purple power. Like this video, 3,000 likes. Every like helps in the algorithm ranking, and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that fifth stimulus starting right now. Fifth stimulus has a lot of breaking news. Breaking news number one, there will be a fifth stimulus check. Those Democrats in the House have represented that they'll be giving you a monthly stimulus check. This would be going to a vote by about this fall, about October, November, into law probably by November. The fifth stimulus check would go out in 2022. It would not overlap with the fourth stimulus check, which would be a 2021 check. Breaking news story number two is the president has dedicated $1 billion to the Social Security Administration Fund to ensure that you get things on time going forward. This will alleviate all the problems we had with third stimulus checks going out late to people on benefits. This would ensure the fourth stimulus check comes on time, the fifth, and also your benefits as well. Number three, Wall Street is still reacting to the news from Friday when the Federal Reserve head out of St. Louis, who is below Jay Powell, the Fed chair, spoke differently than Jay Powell, saying bluntly that inflation is red hot and that the two interest spikes will come not in 2 years, but next year, causing Wall Street to crash. Wall Street is still trying to grapple with the news because we're less than a week away from when we heard that the consumer price index and the producer price index are red hot. Inflation signals red hot. What does this mean for you? Wall Street analysts are believing now that the transitory, or another word for temporary, inflation spike later this year will be enormous, that we may be at about 4% right now, and that we're heading up on an inflation rate and will be hitting potentially a 10% spike that will then come down later thereafter. That spike, potentially, they believe, is at the end of this year. This is great news for you as we look at benefits being revised, because that is exactly when they apply your benchmark of inflation. Let's go over the analysis of it right now and how this calculates out. They're going to increase your benefit limits, remove the asset limits, add an inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over this fifth stimulus calculation right now and understand that this is astronomically more money than the SS200. You should never talk about SS200 ever again because this is astronomically more money. I know SS200 got a lot of press. This has not got a lot of press. This is a fortune and astronomical more money. So you want to get behind it. First, they're going to raise your benefits up one big time. Who's you? You, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple benefits. Then they'll apply that benchmark of inflation. New benchmark, but the same application always is unchanged. The application is always done in November, December for the next year. They look at the benchmark and they decide, are we raising it? Well, we all know inflation is going to be high later this year. But here's what you need to know, is that if that spike from 4% to 10% hits right when they apply the benchmark, and that's at that real peak of 10%, you're going to see a massive rise, potentially of 10%. Not just next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. This potential spike of a massive once-in-a-generation inflation rate would lift your benefits lifetime. It's wonderful, wonderful news. Then they're going to move the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. They're going to remove the law so you can have some stimulus checks in your hand with room for a taco. Then they're going to remove the 1960s law that says you cannot work and stay on benefits. If you want to work, now you can. And they're going to get rid of the marriage penalty. It's horrible. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry a long-time love interest and not fear loss of benefits. Viewers like Sandy and Rob will be able to get married and no longer worry about the marriage penalty. And there you go. That is fifth stimulus. A lot of stuff in fifth stimulus, a lot of stuff in fourth stimulus, and fortunes for you to get in third stimulus. If you're new to this channel, that's what I told viewers on January 2021. I said, third stimulus is going to pass. You're going to get a $1,400 stimulus check, but there's going to be somewhere between $1,000 to $15,000 of other money for you to get under third stimulus. And so how do you know how to get this money? And if you haven't gotten it, how do you get it? By becoming a member. Go to the membership link in the top of this chat or pinned comment, and it will get you membership. As a member, daily I deliver to you via the community page on YouTube a breakdown of everything that's in third stimulus for you to get money for. Fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus. Most of the money on third stimulus is application based, so you need to apply to get the money, and it's a fortune. Thousands and thousands of dollars. If you see a Purple Hawk next to a viewer's name, they are a member. If it has a little dot in the corner, they've been a member for several months. And there you go. Let's go now to the final part, the third and final part of our fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today. And I told you there was a couple things I predicted over the weekend. Well, it's just surprising. I mean, it's just so predictable. I'm going to be going over first, personal message. Second, I'll be going over the voting process. Number three, I'll be going over fake narrative. And finally, we'll be going over Purple Power Push. All right, personal messaging. It's important to note that through the final moments and the final hours, there's a lot of twists and turns. So you need to stay positive focus, but also understand I'm going to use Bernie Sanders' remarks on Sunday as an example of what I've said on this channel. Sanders said, I don't particularly like something, but I don't have the final bill. There you go. Can I put that on a plaque and put it behind me? There is no final bill yet. And so I don't want you to be anywhere in the emotional roller coaster that is possible. Because, as earlier said in this video, they're still marking up the bill. What does that mean? They have a draft of the bill, and they got a pen in their hand. The pen has ink on one side and an eraser on the other side. That pen can add stuff at any time, and it can also erase stuff at any time. But to make it even clear, even Bernie Sanders says, I don't have a draft of the final bill. Why? Because it hasn't been voted on. And Bernie Sanders remembers the Senate. So it's important to understand why Bernie Sanders says that, because first the House has to finish up their bill, and they haven't finished up the bill. So let's go over the 9-step voting process now that we understand the context of Bernie Sanders' comments, which are wonderfully helpful. The 9 steps are very important. Steps 5, 7, and 8 are the most important. You'll see changes available to the bill at 5, 7, and 8. And then we'll be going over all those starting right now. When I say the bill, I mean the eventual bill, because there is no bill finalized yet. All right, step 1. House subcommittee calls a procedural vote. Step 2, the House floor votes on the procedural bill. Step 3, the Senate votes on the procedural bill. Step 4, the president signs a law of the procedural bill. At that point, the tow truck has passed over the finish line. Time to go get the tow hitch, the substantive bill. There's that important step 5. The House subcommittee, the people who said they're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks, finish marking up the bill. They're marking it up now, and they finally finish it up at that point at step 5, and they call for a vote. There may be stimulus checks in there. There may be not. Step 6, the House floor votes on the substantive bill. Here we go, step 7 and 8. This is Bernie Sanders' town. The 2-day critical vote-a-rama. Bernie Sanders and the senators receive the bill from the House. As Bernie says, I don't have the bill. Of course she doesn't have the bill. They haven't voted on it yet in the House. So during that 2-day vote-a-rama, 3 events possibly could occur. 3 possibilities, 3 permutations. 1, no checks in the House bill. The senators can amend and add them in there. Possibility number 2, there are stimulus checks in the bill, and the senators love it. They leave it alone. Possibility number 3, there are stimulus checks in there from the House, but the senators want to amend something, and they do. And finally, step 9, the president signs into law. Now, let's go over some times and dates you're going to hear for the first time on Afternoons LA. First, the vote-a-rama does have to take a certain number of hours under the Constitution. You can't shrink that time anyway or cut corners on that. As to the other 9 steps, they can do those 9 steps faster if in multiple steps in a single day. So they can do them quicker. So it's not necessarily 9 days. Finally, it's important to remember that any change that the senators make go back to the House, but generally the House members eradicate whatever the House members do. There's also this sort of another story, which I don't really cover because it's sort of boring, which is Chuck Schumer before with Recon has avoided doing subcommittees in the Senate. He just has the subcommittees in the House do it, and the Senate subcommittees talk with them ahead of time. So do not expect a round of Senate subcommittees to derail you as well. Finally, tracking times. I saw some comments over the weekend. It was, I think, on Saturday and Friday, where people were saying strange dates in July. I don't know where those are coming from. Not coming from me. July 21st, July 28th. I don't know what those dates are. Certainly doesn't come from me. To which brings me to fake narratives. I told you this was going to happen. And I gave you a preview of this earlier in the video. I told you that there was going to be two things happening this week. One of the things was that you are going to see certain senators and House members say something who are Democrats, and then you're going to see broadcast media, whether it's non-political broadcast media or conservative or liberal, is taking the quote out of context, because they do it all the time. So they did with Bernie Sanders, and I told you they were going to do it over the weekend, and I used him as an example. And I said he hasn't said anything yet. I said at that point. And then he said something, and they did right to him. So let's go over how they did that with Bernie. Bernie said, I don't, because he's done this 3 times before, I don't particularly like something like that in there. That's how he talks. He doesn't say, I'm voting against it and killing the bill. He never says that. But that's the title of every article they always put with Bernie Sanders. I would be a little bit upset if I keep on seeing the same publication do that to me. But he says, I'm not very excited about something like that included. And he said that on Sunday. I'm not very excited about a gas tax, and I'm not very excited about a EV thing, this or that. But I haven't, and so, comma. What do? They cut right after the comma, and then they put a title on top of it. Bernie Sanders is going to block the infrastructure bill. He didn't say that. He said he's not excited about that. What is the second part of the sentence? But I haven't seen the final bill. Meaning that maybe he is fine with the gas tax. Maybe he is fine with the EV. And he is just being told, and he admits he's being told secondhand what is sort of potentially in there. So that is first what's going to happen. Second, what's also going to happen is this thing that the president is guilty of. The president, when in Geneva, Switzerland a week ago, was asked by the press the bipartisan issue with Shelley Moore Capito, which had fallen apart. He said, no, we're done with that. We're calling the vote. I don't want to hear any more about this. And then he got off the plane in another town, and they asked him the question again. He said, well, I'm always happy to hear from anyone. To which he opened the door again. So his problem has been his inability to say, we're doing a recon and I don't want to hear from Republicans. He doesn't like saying that. He thinks he's going to lose the midterm election because he's partisan. But recon is partisan, and you're passing a recon. Just live with it. So the result of that is broadcast media, even the top 3 networks, are running quotes about Rob Portman talking about stuff he wants to do. The president is not doing anything with Ron Portman, but the problem is that the president had not zipped his mouth or told the Republicans to zip their mouth. The president made it sound like it was free for all for everyone to come forward in the peanut gallery and say something. And certainly Ron Portman's at the back of the peanut gallery. Ron Portman, if you remember from 2020, was the senator who's now quitting. He's out the door, who said in the middle of the pandemic, as you were losing your job, your home, and your livelihood, and the pandemic was ravaging Americans, that you need to get back at work. You're lazy. I'm cutting off your FPC, and I'm not giving you a stimulus check. Yeah, that's Ron Portman. So by the president not saying the door is shut, we're doing recon, I don't want to hear from anything else on bipartisanship, he's allowed broadcast media to make it think like they can run a Ron Portman quote. And they'll be running Ron Portman quotes all week long. And guess what? They were running them this morning. So that's sort of the fault of the president. Finally, Purple Power Push. You've been doing a great job, but boy, you can't stop. You can't stop because that pen is in their hand. They're marking up the bill. There's a pen ink on one side, and there's a eraser on the other side. They see your tweets. So tag the Democrats in the House, Democrats in the Senate. Tag the progressives. Tag the Progressive Caucus, their chair, their vice chair. Tag their staffer, their chief of staff. Every senator has a chief of staff. If you can find their chief of staff, tag them. Tag the House Ways and Means Democrats. Tag these people. Hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power. Also retweet other people that you can find by searching for MSC on Twitter. If you don't use Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, or Instagram, then use the old-fashioned way, the telephone. Pick up the telephone and call your elected officials' Democratic office and speak to them, their staffer, and express why it's important to have a stimulus check. Finally, it's very important to have a stimulus check. Why? Because last Thursday, the new jobless claims number was released. It shows how many people newly went on unemployment that were not unemployed during the pandemic. These are people who have not been unemployed before in the last year, and the number went up. It showed we're not out of the pandemic economically. It showed that we need more stimulus. As Jerome Powell, Jay Powell, said on last Wednesday on Capitol Hill, I need to continue supporting this economy. The economy is not fully rebounded. And that's why you need a stimulus check. Stay with this video. In 7 seconds after this video is over, it'll automatically take you to Evenings LA, which is a big broadcast tonight. Oh boy, you don't want to miss that one. So stay with this video and it'll take you automatically to Evenings LA 7 seconds after this video is over. And then Evenings LA starts in about an hour and a half thereafter. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers is a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes. It also delivers free pizza. I think, at least that's what I heard. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, and get delivered to you daily what's in the third stimulus so you can get that big money as well. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you next on Evenings LALATE.